Good afternoon, folks. Today is an absolutely gorgeous day. It's about 75 degrees. The humidity I just checked is at 39%, which is pretty glorious if you ask me. And there's not a cloud in the sky. So we're finally going to get to seeding, putting down some perennial ryegrass. So I'm going to take you through that whole process. So instead of talking my way through the process, I'm just going to go ahead and show you. So let's just get started. First things first, so I got my seed from the seed superstore, got it online. I actually bought 10 pounds of the SS 9000 Perennial Ryegrass blend. I look at a bunch of different blends and everything else, and I just figured this was probably a good mixture of a bunch of different ones. I looked at reviews and looked at all kinds of different things from a germination standpoint, and this seems like it's probably just a good way to go, considering I don't know that much about perennial ryegrass. So the rate on this thing that we put it out needs to be about 8 pounds per thousand. So I'm going to use 8 pounds on the putting green, and I'm going to save the rest of it for that little section on the side of my lawn. I'm using a Scott's, the drop spreader, mostly because I want a lot of control. I don't want to get a bunch of seeds like back in here onto the hill. I'm basically going to follow the line right on down, and then the same thing with where it kind of becomes like just a normal area. So I want to have a lot of control over where I put the seed, and then I also want to go on in multiple directions. So I'm going to go at a pretty low rate to start off with, and then I'm going to get it all the way there, and then I'm also going to put it over here in the main putting green area. So it's basically going to follow this green line right here where the hill is, and I'm just going to go that way. So we got all of that seed down. My drop spreader setting was a little low. I was a little nervous, so I had to turn it up there at the end, but I think we got everything. It's got good coverage, got a pretty even coverage, I think. So now what we're gonna do is, I've got my water roller filling up. I'm gonna roll it out. Most of it is grass, so it's gonna be kind of hard to get that seed to soil contact that I want. But I'm gonna do that first. Then I'm gonna put down some of the peat moss that I got. We're gonna put that, a nice thin coat over that, roll it out again, and then we'll water it in. But I'm also going to put in some starter fertilizer. So the stuff I'm going to be using is Simple Lawn Solutions. I'm using their 3-18-18, so I can get some good potassium in there. You guys have heard me talk about fertilizer before and how I don't really think that if you don't need the phosphorus, you shouldn't put it in. This is the exception to my rule personally, is because I am trying to establish new seed. So the phosphorus is really a key component to getting that seed to really start developing some great roots into the soil. And obviously the potassium is great for plant health overall. You know, the nitrogen is going to help the plant grow up. This is where you kind of change the rules a little bit, no matter what it is that your soil says, because we're really trying to establish that seed in here. So that's kind of the step after I get the peat moss in, and then but you'll follow along. We'll get to everything as we go. All right, we rolled the whole thing out. That thing is a lot more tiring than it looks, believe it or not. I mean, you think it's just, it's flat, I have to go up and down a hill, but it's still pushing around quite a bit of weight. Now, let's get some of this peat moss thrown out on there. We may rake it in just a little bit, make sure that we've got a nice even coverage, and then we can water it in with the simple lawn solutions. Put down 4 bales of peat moss. A couple reasons why I'm putting it down. Number one, it's a great way to retain water. It's got some really good water retention properties. Keeps the birds off of them, which keeps them from stealing my seeds. And then the other thing too is that the peat moss isn't introducing any kind of weeds to it. So if you look at the label, it usually is pretty inert as far as like introducing anything new to the grass. So all those reasons are why I put down the peat moss. I put down 4 bales. I probably could put it down a little bit thicker, but for now it'll work just fine. So next step is I'm going to roll it out again, and then I can get to the fertilizer. That's all of the rolling. I'm dumping out the water there in the corner. Go get the hose and then put it in the simple lawn solution so we can get that starter fluid. So we can get that starter fertilizer going in the lawn. Well, that's pretty much it for the project for today. Got all the seed down. I've got it rolled out a couple times. Have the peat moss down to keep the birds away and to keep it wet. The only thing I have left is to change my sprinkler system, which I have a Radjo system for those of you that don't know. I'm going to do a review of that again. I've had it for about 1.5 years and I absolutely love the controller. But I'm going to set it up to water the lawn for the next couple weeks. I'm going to do 10, 2, and 6 p.m. every day for about 10 minutes. The key with seed is that once you get it wet and it starts to get it through the process of germination, it has to stay wet. And the peat moss is going to help it do that. So the sprinkler system being on, and I'm sure I'm filthy, I just realized that. And the sprinkler system being on that regular rotation, it'll just keep everything nice and wet. We've got rain coming in a couple days. I'm actually going to be out of town this weekend. I'm going to Miami for the University of Miami versus the FSU Criminals game, and so it should be a fun time, but I'm not going to be around to baby the lawn. The sprinkler system is going to have to take care of that for me. Hopefully it'll be germinating by the time I get back on Sunday, and I can do a quick update on that at that point, and maybe I'll just put it out on Instagram. For those of you that don't know, I have an Instagram account. It's the.lawn.shark at Instagram, so check that out if you haven't already. And we'll give you some updates as we go along. So hope you guys enjoyed the process of seeding my putting green with Perennial Ryegrass. If you like the video, and only if you like it, go ahead and like it, and subscribe to the channel if you like the content that I've been putting out. And if you want to be notified of future videos, don't forget to hit that bell, and we will see you on the next one.